1 minute warning!
To the goofball army out there, hi at the families, tell them to get to the next room, tell them to go to your neighbors, because we got goofball news to go over, and it might get crazy.
Typically does, guys. If it's your first episode ever, you got like 30 seconds before we start, so not enough time to go to the bathroom, but go get a drink, because trust me, you're probably going to need it there. In the meantime, the rest, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. That way you know about future episodes as well, guys. Buckle your seatbelts if you haven't already. Make sure your tray is in the upright position here, guys, because we are just about ready to get going. And like, whew.
Guys, if you want a crazy ride going forward, a bunch of nonsense, but all nothing but the truth about the Giants, listen in, buckle in, tell a friend.
Let's go.
And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs in your Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by
Me, Rob. And hey, happy Hump Day, Drew.
Hump Day. I went the opposite direction, by the way, the pointing, because apparently my thing decided to mirror my image. There we go. Now I can do it. There we go. Now I'm in the right way. There we go. There we go. So listen, guys, we got a lot to go over. It's the combine week in the NFL, so there's tons in there. It's still going on, obviously. We've already got signals for Harbaugh and Schoen about how this franchise is going to be run, what changes they're expecting on the field, and how they're thinking about the draft and free agency as this week just keeps on unfolding. So let's get right into the New York Giants combine update there with you guys.
Let's go.
All righty. So very first thing, we said we talked about this today, and obviously we're going to have to talk about it, is the press conferences. One of the nice things about the combine is it's one of the rare times every year that we actually have to force the GM and head coach to the podium and have them talk at the same event. Not just the head coach after the game, and that's a typical thing there, but Joe Schoen doesn't do a lot of these per year. And quite frankly, you can't blame him for hiding and cowering in the corner lately, the way he's playing. But there was a lot of talk in this combine about how the organization is run. Obviously, we talked about it with the scaredy cat look, so to speak, that Joe Schoen had. It looked like he was about to have a nervous breakdown when they announced the hiring and did the press conference there for Joe Schoen, and kind of was interested to see how he reacted, how everybody kind of blended together now that they've been together a little longer. I will say this, he didn't seem as scared as he did the last time. He seemed, I wouldn't say quite his usual self, but more his usual self, if that makes sense.
Yeah, he got over the stutters.
Yeah, like he wasn't sweating profusely and having, hair dye drip down his face or anything. Like, that's what I was waiting for. It's too jet black. There's got to be some hair dye there. Anyway, first thing, we got a couple of things to go over there, but the first thing I thought was interesting was the question was asked, and I'm sorry, unfortunately, I didn't announce on the videos we had who was asking each question, so I'd love to give the credit to whoever asked the questions. I just don't have that ability. But the first question was, I want to go over is, how would you explain not just the hiring of coaches and everything, but overall the approach to renovating all these parts of an organization while still keeping the brand? I'm curious, how would you explain kind of what you've done? And this was obviously at John Harbaugh. He said, I think just trying to build how we're going to operate, trying to build what we're going to become and organize it in a way that we can be our very best. I mean, that's what it boils down to. You try to build a system and an operation that can be its best. It's a tough league. It's very competitive. It's a really fine line. I mean, the margins are tight, between winning and losing and having a good day and all those things. So what we're trying to do together as a group is just build the best football operation that we possibly can. And out of that, create the best football team that we can, then prepare and then go play the games and see how we do. I got to say, good answer by him. It was very much like, this is a group effort. This is we're all in this together. Like,
yeah.
And we know what kind of power he has. Let's be honest. We know.
He's got it all.
And he's not being a dick about it. I kind of like that. Like, he's at least letting Joe Schoen save some face. Like, this is an effort together. This is a team thing. We're going to do this all together. Not like, Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Like,
They were doing it all wrong.
yeah, the previous
I mean, he
thing.
could have said that, and quite frankly, none of us would have complained. He would be right. We've been complaining they've been doing it wrong for how many years?
Decade.
Yeah, so, like, it's just not crazy there, but again, I liked what he said there. I think those kind of answers go a long way to not having issues in the front office, not having issues out in public,
It's a,
and it's smart of him, which is, to be honest, what we kind of expect of Harbaugh. He's not a moron.
yeah. Well, I mean, he's a leader among men, and that's how a leader answers. It's a group thing. Like, yes, you are the leader, and it comes on me, but me
Leader of
works.
the pack.
Me only works because of the people that you are coaching.
Yeah.
So it's all of us. We do it together.
Definitely. Now, Joe Schoen was also kind of asked about this as well. He said, they said to Joe Schoen, who will direct the conversations about contracts of free agents and things like that? Are you running those meetings? Is Dawn, that's of course Dawn Aponte, the new vice president they hired, running those? Are you doing that collaboratively? How is that? He said, yeah, and Pat. So I'm assuming that was Pat Leonard. Again, they didn't announce who it was, but I'm assuming that's Pat Leonard when this is yeah, and Pat. I know he videotaped the whole thing as well. So, again, I assume it was him. I'm still the general manager of the team. My role has not changed. I'm still tasked with leading the entire football operation, and we're going to work in collaboration with like most good teams do. And it's going to be a collaborative. Everybody's going to have their role, but there's constant communication between Dawn, Coach Harbaugh, myself, in terms of how we're going to build the football operation. And then we're going to execute, the draft trades, free agency contract signings, coaching staff, whatever it may be. We're going to work in collaboration together. We're aligned in that, and it's been really good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost some
When you
power,
have to
but I
announce
still
you're
have
still
some
the
power.
GM. Like, when you have to announce you're still the GM.
I can see from both point of views, right? So he definitely lost the power. We all saw it, and you're in the New York market. We're going to be rough and tough about it. So he's probably getting pummeled with this every single day. Hey, you lose all the power, you lose this. Like, there's a point of so much where, all right, yes, I'm still the GM. I have the power to do things without being like dance around the question. So I guess I get some of the frustration. He put down his peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Frustrating because if it is Pat Leonard's been publicly calling for this man's job for how long?
Yeah.
That's going to cause issues. But when you sit there and say, I'm still tasked with leading the entire football operation. Well, let's see. Dawn Aponte's title, Vice President of Football Operations. There is no president of football operations like that.
Yeah, very interesting.
So he thinks he's still in charge of the football operations, yet here's somebody who clearly has the title of Vice President of Football Operations.
And coming from a corporate world and doing things, usually a vice president's job is above the GM.
Yes. And sometimes they even get a vice president or president of football operations kind of title to go along with the GM title. He does not have that. Let's be very clear on that. He does not have that. And that's not to bring him down. It's just to call it like it is. Because if you listen to all the reports, he reports to Dawn Aponte. Dawn reports to Harbaugh, who reports to the ownership. That's the way it's being said publicly by a lot of media sources. Again, we're not in those rooms. We can't say that's exactly how it's going. I don't want to say that we're reporting it that way because we don't have any sources to tell us either way. But that's what you're hearing from people like Pat Leonard. And like I said, when you got to go out there and physically say, I'm still the GM of the team, that's not good. That's like when they bring the new guy into work, is about to take your job, and they're like, it's still my job.
Yeah. These young whippersnappers think they know it all.
And we know Dawn has interviewed for 2 different GM positions in the past. So we know she wants to be a GM. So, yeah, honestly, she is the built-in person to take over his job if he's
I
not
was about to say.
successful with Harbaugh. And success, honestly, probably looks more like Harbaugh being happy than anything else. I hate to say it that way because that shouldn't be the goal. The goal should be success in the team. But I feel like that's what success for him means. Harbaugh's happy with what he's done.
And it comes down Harbaugh he's a Harbaugh. There's a little bit of an ego
Yeah.
there. Let's be real. He wants the team to do well because that's his name on it.
And he's got 1 year left of his contract, guys. He's a lame duck GM right now. And he wouldn't even answer the question about whether or not he was going to get an extension or anything.
I think he knows the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, this is, like I said, this is not quite the same Joe Schoen as last time again. He's not sweating profusely and looking like he's about to have a nervous breakdown and a heart attack or a stroke at the podium. But this is, I hate to say the term, but like a neutered down version of Schoen still.
Yes.
Like, he might have to have his peanut butter jelly sandwiches without the organic jam going forward. Might have to go
Not
with
the super crunchy, just a regular crunch.
Yeah. I just the whole thing's interesting. Now Harbaugh also was asked about Dawn Aponte. Again, she's right there in that mix we're speaking in between the two Schoen and Harbaugh there. The question is with Dawn, what's the thought process behind video and analytics and those departments reporting to her? He said, Harbaugh says, yeah, that's integration. The thing that you come to understand over all these years, it's probably true for really any organization that you've got to be aligned, you've got to be integrated, and everybody's got to be working together. That's got to be a shared understanding, a vision of what we're trying to accomplish. There's got to be a shared understanding of who you are, what you stand for, and what the values are of what we're going to get there, what our plans are. That takes constant communication. It's got to be flat. Everyone's got to be working together. The idea that there's too much hierarchy or silos or separate fences and things like that just can't be part of it. Not in football, not in anything. So someone like Dawn helps Joe and I, three of us really working together to make sure that all of our systems are integrated. So whether it's, analytics, which is an area we bolstered up quite a bit. If you look at the staff, whether it's performance and medical, which is an area we bolstered up and tried to tie together, grounds, fields, all of it, video, all of it, coaching, scouting, pro college, all of it, it's all got to be integrated and it's got to be aligned. So Dawn is someone that helps us do that. It's a multi-person job. So between Joe, I, and Dawn, I think we get a chance to do that. And then ownership, a big part of it. And we have great owners. We've got great families involved. And they're on that. They're the dome over all of us, tying it all together to represent what the Giants are about, what they've always been about based on Mara and the Tishes and now the Kochs and their vision for the organization. Listen, I don't know about you guys. I don't often hear a third person being put into that kind of hierarchy like that. Not publicly, at least.
Usually not. That's what you call your private partner.
Yeah. Like I don't want to use like a weird threesome analogy because it is two guys and a girl and weird things will happen to that analogy. But I'm just saying it's like
they're not going to Paris.
Yeah, it's weird. Because usually it's a GM, it's a head coach. These are the two people that are on top. That's what it is. There's an owner they both report to. Obviously, sometimes the coach reports to the GM. Sometimes he reports to the owner. There's not a third person involved usually. That is a weird scenario. And I'm not saying I hate it. Let me be very clear on that. I'm not saying I hate it. All I care about is results and if we win. That's all I give a damn about.
I think yeah. I mean, I don't think we're going to have this scenario for years to come. I think you pretty much hit this on the head earlier when you're like, yeah, Shane's got a year left and Dawn's pretty much the next person up. I always said it's the wrong pronoun, but whatever. I had to stop myself. But she's trained like she wants to be a GM. She has the skills to be a GM. Harbaugh has she's very qualified. Shane has like a football scouting kind of mind. So does Harbaugh. Like, they're going to talk over to each other like, no, this is a player. No, this is a player. This is a player.
Yeah.
And Don's going to be like, no, we can't afford him. What the hell are you guys doing? Let's do this kind of move. And that's like where it comes down to. And like, that's the GM and the head coach should be having those conversations.
Yeah.
Only there's one more football person out there, if you will.
And like, again, she basically replaced Kevin Abrams. And you didn't see Kevin Abrams in those scenarios. And like, look at what we're talking about. Oh, we're bolstering up the medical team. We're bolstering up the groundskeepers. We're bolstering up the video department. We're bolstering up the training. Is that her job? Because like, once they're done with the bolstering, what is she doing? You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much bolstering you can do.
You can bolster all year long if you want to.
Up there. Like,
just keep on bolstering. It's a part of it.
I'm just saying, like, it just, the whole thing seems weird. Like, it's like everybody you hear about, everybody reporting to her, and that's what he's talking about there, and he's kind of dancing around with the topic a little bit, like he should, again, like he should. But you notice that they're not reporting to Joe Schoen, you know, and it's a weird thing to me. Ryan, real quick, asked in there, he says, does she have any experience on the scouting personnel side? So everything with her, she's basically, and listen, I don't want to pretend like I know every single thing she's done in life, but most of her jobs have been based on the finance part of it.
Yeah. So
salary cap negotiation, contracts, things of that nature. Not as much the scouting side. It's not to say she hasn't done it. You know, like, you don't spend 30 years around football and not gain something. You know,
yeah, she's more of the back of house football operations person,
yeah,
if you will.
Yeah, and
a restaurateur for you.
In all fairness, if you're a guy like Harbaugh, and not to use a Bill Parcells thing here, but if you want to be the one collecting the groceries, so to speak, you can kind of be like to her, like, hey, this is what I want. Let's figure out a way to get it done. That partnership could work out very well. You know, and obviously Harbaugh worked hand in hand with the front office there in Baltimore, which is one of the better ones in the entire NFL.
Yeah.
You know, how much did he have to say in the scouting per se? We don't know that. I'm not going to pretend to know that. We'll find out as things progress, probably, both for Baltimore and for New York. But, you know, it's like I said, it's definitely an interesting dynamic, the whole thing. It really, really is there. Now, talked about ownership there. You knew this was going to have to pop up at some point there. Joe Schoen was asked about the whole Epstein and Steve Tisch thing. Question was, Joe, what's the organization's position on whether Steve Tisch should remain an active owner of the team, given latest news and revelations? He did exactly what he thought he'd do. He said, yeah, Steve released a statement a few weeks ago, you know, about the regrets. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to comment anything on that, which is what he expected. You know, it's, you know, again, what you expect.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So Joe Schoen was also asked about the NIL stuff, which is interesting. Again, NIL has completely changed college. Like, college football is completely different now. You got guys literally changing schools once a year now, just based on who's got the most checkbooks for them, ready to go. Like, it's a totally different ball game now. So the question was, Joe, how you guys have led the NIL for several years, notice much of a change in the mental makeup of these guys coming in. How do you evaluate hunger now? Some of these guys are financing, meaning some of these guys already got money. They don't need to care about the game anymore, which is the truth. Some of these guys are millionaires before they even hit the goddamn NFL.
Yeah. So, I mean, depends on the person. Like, yeah, some of these players are going to come out there wanting to play football for the best team. And if you got $10 million in the bank and the Raiders come knocking for you to be the QB, you might be saying, I'm going to spend another year in college.
But it's also like, you want to know, like, does this person love football, or do they love the idea of money from football? Because if they just love the money, well, they already got that. They're just out for one more paycheck, basically. If they love the game, that's a totally different thing there. So Shane responded, said, "Yeah, that's a great question. We're always trying to evaluate that because it used to be, what's this kid going to be like with money? What's he going to do?" Well, you couldn't really answer that question because you didn't know. Now these guys come to the league and they have money. So now it's much more, do they love football? Would they do it for free? We're trying to analyze, do they transfer 4 times because they're chasing the bag? So that's really what our scouts do a phenomenal job. They do a great job of getting backgrounds at the schools, their relationships with coaches. That's where it's integral. And we've got a veteran staff that does a really good job with a background check and have a really good feel for who these individuals are. Honestly, that was a damn good question. I wish I knew who asked that one because that really is a difference.
It really
We've
is.
talked about on the show, do they love football? And we've questioned that with some people, looking at you, Deontay Banks. We've questioned that sometimes, but it's an interesting part of when you're in a room now with these guys pre-draft. It used to be you're with a guy who's going, "Oh my God, this is my first money I'm going to get. I'm going to have to let me get a car and a house and my mom a house and all these things like that." That's not going on like that anymore. They already got the house. Their mom's already got a house. They already got a car. Now, are they making ridiculous money? Most of these guys are not. Let's be very clear on that. Most of these guys are not. But if you got a guy already making $1 million a year, which some of these guys are, it's a different conversation. And when you're going for a guy that's literally going to be the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft, guess what? They're probably making a couple million.
Probably.
Maybe not per year, but combined in their college career now, they've probably made a couple $1 million. And they'd be fine if they never played football again, assuming they did good things with their money, which unfortunately most kids don't, obviously. But, again, it's a different way of having these conversations, though. You really do have to find that out. Do they love it? We talk about with free agents all the time. The guys that were especially the day 3 picks that turned to be great players, and they get the bag, and then all of a sudden they just don't show up. That's insanity. Albert Hainsworth, classic example.
Fair.
Got his payday, $100 million, and he was done. He didn't care about football anymore. Didn't love it.
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to find those players out there they're there for the paycheck. And yeah, I think it's a great question because you're going to, especially when you're talking about the higher rank guys, you're going to find out who wants to be there and who's there for the paycheck, which is exactly where the question goes. But
yeah,
do you think when they're scouting Jackson Dart, do you think he was caring for the paycheck or going out there playing football? That's part of the scouting job.
Immediately he loved football. You can just tell it when he talks.
100%. I sent you that thing on Instagram a couple weeks ago where he's talking about it was Dart and Scatterwing, and they're sitting there talking about football, and Dart went into it was a really quick question. He went into a 2-minute answer, breaking down defenses, this and that, and so Scatterwing just going, "I like wings."
But they both love football, but they both react differently. And that's the issue. That's the difficult part about trying to figure out, how do I find out if this guy loves football? It is a difficult thing to figure out. It goes way beyond the issue of how many teammates go to their birthday party. This is way beyond that. This is, like I said, it's an interesting thing. And I think we'll see more and more about this stuff as things come out. But, it used to be that ask all kinds of questions to find out if what they would kind of person they are to kind of determine what they had to be when they got money. They already got the money. It's not wrong. It's a good question. I love that question. We had the question here, and both Harbaugh and Joe Schoen got asked a version of this question. We're going to stick with the John Harbaugh answer because he's the coach. This is an on-the-field question, so it really matters more what he thinks than Joe Schoen. Plus, he's Joe Shane's boss, basically, so it matters more anyway. So, the question was, John, you've talked a lot about the history of the New York Giants, New York football Giants. Those Giants stopped the run. Kind of been a struggle here. The Giants do that recently. Is that a personnel thing? Is that a mindset thing? How do you get the Giants to stop the run this year? And his answer, he said, "Well, we better, I mean, it's a must thing. I can tell you that. It's, there's a lot to it. There's 3 levels and layers to your defense, and all 3 layers and levels have to be committed to and incorporated in stopping the run. No doubt. I mean, every single one of the 11 guys has to be committed to stopping the run. You can't let people run all over you. There's no doubt about it. It's been important. It's been important. It's been important in football since football started. So that's where it starts. It's going to start with stopping the run, honestly. I think it's going to start with running the football. Once you can establish that you can do those things, then it gives you a chance to open up the playbook and do whatever you want. So, yeah, and this is what we'll be telling you guys. The run game on offense and defense is going to be much more of a priority with Harbaugh. Much more of a priority.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong. It's gotta be part of, like, the fact that we had multiple guys running for over 100 yards against us in the same game in the last season. That's goddamn pathetic.
It's a big problem.
Goddamn pathetic.
You have your first and second string running, 200 yards plus on us. That's
Yeah.
not.
Now, how much of that was the scheme? We all know that Shane Bowen was inept. Not to be a jerk about it, he's gone, but his defense was inept. And I don't know how much of that was him and how much was the players, but I can tell you this: neither one were good.
No.
Neither one were good. The defensive line minus Dexter Lawrence was not good at stopping the run. Dexter Lawrence was not even his usual self. Then you throw in the fact that, again, I've said it before, Bobby Okereke is a stat compiler. He tackles the guy if he already got 5 yards. You didn't do your job if you got 5 yards. This is going to be a priority for these guys. I'm telling you right now, on both sides of the football. Running the football and stopping the run is going to be a priority. And I love that. It's the way it's supposed to be. I just hope we don't focus on this so much we lose the other half.
I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be a one-sided thing.
No.
It's exactly how it's supposed to be. You run the ball and you set up to run.
Yep.
I'm sorry. You run the ball, you set up the pass. Wow.
Run the ball and you set up the run. You run it, then you run it some more.
Yeah. Oh, is that a Kafka offense? Run, throw, run.
Yeah. Like I said, it's gonna be interesting to see, that's for sure. But I think you're gonna see a lot of big bodies coming in to clog up the middle this offseason. And it's gonna be linebackers and defensive linemen. I really think that's what it's gonna be. Now, speaking of the run stoppers, so Dexter Lawrence did come up in this conversation a couple times, with both conversations, both with Joe Schoen and with John Harbaugh. Harbaugh was asked, how important is he? And Harbaugh came back and said, how important is he? Really important. He's super, super important. First off, that sounds so corny. You're super, super important.
Super duper.
But he is. Anyway, he says he's a cornerstone football player. Not really a cornerstone. He's more like the middle stone. He's right in the middle. He's a very big stone, and he's a very active, athletic stone. So I love hearing John Harbaugh talk positive about Dexter Lawrence, because you heard a lot of people talking about, would we trade Dexter Lawrence? Would we cut Dexter Lawrence? No.
He said, nope.
No. You don't get rid of the best nose tackle in football because he had one bad year. And by the way, his bad year was still top 10.
Yeah. You get players around him and better coaching and just watch him thrive.
Yeah. Recognize that maybe he wasn't playing as hard as he maybe should have. And I'll say it that way because he was frustrated. He was done. Change the culture. You get him back.
Yep. Win him right back on your side.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be hanging out with you at the Golden Corral this year. I really don't think you're going to see him having these pot roast burritos.
Hell yeah, he will, bro.
No.
He's going to have to do a couple extra laps.
He's not going. I mean, and as Anthony just said in the comments too, he had his injury issue last year. We talked about that during the season. We kept telling people, you don't know what happened with this injury. Yeah. You got to hope he comes back healthy next year. He comes back motivated next year. He comes back to being the old Dexter Lawrence. And you know what's going to solve a lot of that? Winning. You start winning a couple games, this guy's going to be ecstatic. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be the old Dexter Lawrence all over again. I'm telling you.
Getting happy.
So, yeah. I ain't worried about him. Now, Joe Schoen talked about him from the contract aspect, said that Dexter Lawrence hasn't expressed wanting a new contract. Also said he hasn't fielded any trade calls for him. So, for everybody talking about Dexter Lawrence being potentially gone, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
Respectfully, shut your mouth.
Zip it.
It's like I said, it's all craziness there. Now, Joe Schoen, we talked about him not fielding any calls for trade calls on Dexter Lawrence. He also talked about trading back in the draft, which y'all know we've been talking about that pretty much from the get-go. Like, we need picks. It's not a very top-heavy draft. Got a couple of good pass rushers. Maybe somebody wants to move up. We'll see. But the question was, with just 2 picks inside the top 100. Again, keep in mind we don't have a third-round pick because of the Jackson Dart trade from last year, which we're fine with. We got our quarterback. That matters more. How do you balance trading back because you may need more draft capital, or it's the best for the Giants? And Joe Schoen said, yeah, we're going to look at all options. You know, we're open to moving back if an opportunity is there. We're also fine staying and taking a player there. And if you can't get out of 5, you know, there's always a chance in the second round if you want or move back, or if there's a good player, you can sit and take them. You can move back into the first round. So we're going to keep all our options open.
To be expected.
I feel like there's a one part, and granted, I want to move back. So maybe I'm harping on something, and maybe I'm nitpicking this just a little bit. And if you can't get out of 5, you know.
You could definitely get out of 5. I think what he's doing there is not giving up the farm. We want to sell back because if you say, hey, I want to trade this pick, you're going to get less value for that pick compared to, like, I don't know.
No, 100%. But I'm just saying that right there. Like, why would you say, and if you can't get out of 5, you just said, we're also fine staying and taking a player there. And if you can't get out of 5, you know, so you're just saying.
Well, I took that as if you don't find the deal you want. So if you're going to get a lame duck deal to get 5, don't give it up. Just because you might get 2 picks, like, oh, we'll give you pick 27 and a third round pick. Yeah, no. You go F yourself. I'm going to keep the 5th overall.
Yeah.
Like that's what I took that as.
Yeah, like I said, I agree with you on that. I mean, it's got to be the right move, but I'm just saying you obviously want to move back if you said that. And I do think they want to move back because I don't think there's much difference between picking 5 or 10 in this year's draft for them.
No. But
and again, it's because of the fact that we don't need a pass rusher, we don't need a quarterback, and that's usually what you kind of go with those first couple picks like that. You know, and offensive line, defensive line, the picks that I think they're more interested in, it's reaching to get them at 5. It's really a reach. So it makes sense, but I think I'm glad that I kind of, again, maybe I'm harping on that point because I want them to move back. But when I hear, and if you can't get out of 5,
you're just harping on it. Like for me, what I took it as is, yeah, you want to trade back, but you're not willing to get a lame duck deal. Yeah,
I'm harping here.
You are.
Like I said,
he's not going to get fiddled if you will. No one's going to
back.
play him like a banjo.
It's just a weird thing to say if you don't want to move back. That's all I'm saying. You know,
it is, but it isn't. Because once again, you do value your own pick by saying, "Someone offer me something."
Yeah.
If you act like you don't want to give it up, what's going to happen? You might get, I don't know, the Pittsburgh Steelers to overtrade you.
I mean, again, depending on what somebody wants. Again, I think the pass rusher is going to be the big thing people want, or maybe a wide receiver. You know, we'll see. Maybe someone who loves Caleb Downs and loves him more than the Giants do. I don't know. You know, another man's trash, another man's garbage, another man's gold. I mean, that's the way it works in the draft.
It's the same
you
thing.
You know what I meant. So Joe Schoen also talked about the rehabs there, especially Nabors and Thibodeaux. Obviously, everybody's been worried about that, especially more on the Malik Nabors deal. So the question was, do the rehabs of Malik and Cam create an urgency for you to spend big either free agency or in the draft on like a skilled player, a position player to put with Jackson, not knowing exactly what their timeline looks like? Joe Schoen said, not necessarily with those two. I feel good about where those two are in their rehab. But yeah, you're always going to look to add more explosiveness to your offense, guys that score touchdowns, whatever that comes from, running back, receiver, tight end, whatever it may be. Always going to look for more explosive players and guys that can add touchdowns. So that'll be certainly something we'll look for. So, I mean, that's good. At least he's not, he feels good about where they're at the rehab. Again, who knows if that's real or not, but that's what he said. You don't hear much on, especially Nabors. Like I said, Thibodeaux, we all see on moving his foot around there on freaking streaming with the video games and all. So people seem less worried there. But, and again, I think people got to recognize that Nabors had that issue so early last year. And while it sucked not to have him the whole year, basically,
means
it's better because he's going to be healthy next year when it matters more. And if he's not ready right off the bat, then that's fine. He'll be ready quickly early in the season.
Yeah, that's
and hopefully he's skilled Nabors.
That's something like we kind of talked about earlier. Like, last season, you had Dart developed without a true number one and looked pretty darn good doing it. Now you're going to come back. Nabors is probably not going to be 100% healthy beginning of the season. I mean, come back from the ACL. Most people don't look 100% come back the first year, but it was so early in the year when he tore that, had the injury, that he may not look himself for the first, 4-6 weeks, which, okay, like it's going to suck, but guess what? We didn't have Nabors last year when we watched Start Develop. But come the second half of the year when he is running better and feeling healthy, like just think how much better the Giants will play.
Oh, yeah. And I think we talked before about the do they love football part. People got to recognize, we talked about Thibodeaux, and listen, I just saw a couple of the guys in there in the comments. Obviously, we all know Thibodeaux loves football. Guys, Nabors loves football too. If you hear everything about the frustrations with him, it's about the lack of winning. He loves football. There's no doubt in my mind on that. Doubts I have other things for him at that point, but not his love for football. He loves football. So he'll be ready to
football and surf clubs. He's a good competitor.
That's a good combo, but he's going to go ahead and be fine. I'm not worried about that. Now, they asked specifically on Nabors. They said still on track for the start of training camp. Joe Schoen said, I've been texting with him the last couple of days, and he's in a good spot. He feels good, and the plan is hopefully for him to be ready for training camp. Again, don't hold me to it. Things change. You guys have done this before. I learned my lesson, which first off, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. You guys have done this to me before. I've learned my lesson. Like, fooled me once. Can't get me again. Like, what the hell? But he says, but every patient reacts different, and hopefully there's no setbacks, but the plan is for him to be ready to go for training camp. He's in California. And then there was a question, where is he training? And he said he's not in California. No, he's down in Miami. So he just forgot where he was at. I guess somebody called him out, basically. But they're very close. They're texting.
Too close.
But either way, I like that he seems pretty confident in it. And he's not wrong to sit there and say setbacks can happen, because they can. Anybody comes back in major rehab, that can happen.
When you talk about someone's health, like you can't guarantee anything. You can come back from the ACL doing good. And you know what? You went back to practice 2 weeks too early, and now you agitated, it's swollen, and now you have to wait a month, month and a half, and you added on another 2 to 4 weeks to recovery just because you came back too early. So he has every right saying he looks good, no guarantees.
Yeah. Like I said, he's 100% right for what he did for saying that. I have no issue with that whatsoever. So
call out the media.
That was hilarious. Things change. You guys have done this before. I learned my lesson. Oh. But yeah, Joe Schoen keeping receipts there. He's getting ticked off here.
Bites peanut butter jelly sandwich.
Now, John Harbaugh also talked about the big three as far as free agents. And obviously, that's Jermaine Illuminor, the right tackle, our slot receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson, a little T-Rex himself there, and cornerback Cordell Flott. And he talked about them as priorities. He said, all guys that we want back. You want the guys back. Now it's, okay, do we have the wherewithal to bring them back? Is it a good use of resources, which is the cap? So that's a very nice way for Harbaugh to say, I don't know. I'm being very frank. Like, that's him saying, I don't know. I like them all. I want them all back, but we have a budget. That's basically what he's saying, guys. There ain't nothing wrong with that, because he's not wrong in that. We have a budget. We don't have an open checkbook. We're not the freaking Los Angeles Dodgers.
Fair.
You know, we can't be paying Wan'Dale Robinson and his gambling habits like Ohtani here.
Hey, apparently it was just his translator.
I'm sorry.
His translator, allegedly.
Yes.
Come on, don't get us in trouble here.
He had to translate how to say put 20 on the Dodgers.
He was trying to tell him running a 20-yard sprint.
Yes. Oh, insanity. But yeah, like I said, listen, I think everybody knows that anybody who knows football would want all three of those guys back. And I think Harbaugh's also smart enough to recognize that they have to want to come back too, guys. They have a choice in this matter. We don't get to choose.
Part of it being a free agent.
That's part of it. So unless you're going to tag him, and let's be very frank, none of these guys are worth the tag.
Yeah.
They're not. You have to pay Illuminor over $20 million. You have to pay Wan'Dale like $30 million. And you pay like $20 million for Flott. Those guys aren't worth that.
No.
They're above average, not elite. None of them are elite. The closest one you could say is Wan'Dale, because he had, again, 1,000 yards last year. That's something. You know, but it is what it is there. So
$30 for a year. No, thank you.
Joe Schoen also was asked about Kayvon Thibodeaux. And he said, right now, Kayvon is going to be with us.
Which means now, things can change.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's saying there. And it's got to change. And there's a lot of rumors still, guys, about this. Like, the trade is going to happen, I still think. It's going to be, I do think it's going to be a day 2 pick for Kayvon coming down the pipeline. And that probably depends on what his number is. Because the Giants would be smart to talk to him about a long-term deal and find out how much money he wants. And just at least make sure they know that it's something they can't afford. Heads up, they can't afford it. But yeah. Kayvon's not the guy who's going to give a discount. I'd be very frank on that. And I'm not even knocking him when I say that. Like, I wouldn't give a discount. I want as much money as I can make, doing a job that pays very well, that it's a very short term you get paid on.
Especially at that position when you're injury prone. I think it would be very smart for the Giants. We all know my opinion. Like, I think you figure out how to keep him just because you can really beef up that defense as a crutch for 1 year. If you actually get him on a one-term deal, like, hey, Kayvon, listen, you didn't play that great.
Well, he's already on the 1 year deal right now. So
yeah.
But you bring him, you extend him and get that 1 year down and make it a manageable number for the next couple of years.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to want $20 million a year, and quite frankly, somebody would give it to him.
I mean, possibly. You could also say, "Here, we'll do this to you.
We'll do this to you.
We'll do this for you." Like, hey, no. Like,
or else.
You turn around, like, we'll give you, extend you, but it's a performance thing. It's like we'll give you bigger money on down the pipeline. It's like if we think you got what it takes.
You're referring to,
yeah,
yes.
So you turn around.
Why would they do that when somebody else just give them flat out $20 million?
Because he turned around and proved to the Giants because it's an ego. Because
you think he cares about that? He cares about $20 million.
He also cares about his ego.
He does.
Have you not met the guy? He's got an ego. And he doesn't matter. So You'd sit there and
You
tell
don't
him, "Here's
think he
performance."
proves the Giants he can do it by going somewhere else and doing it? Plus making his $20 million?
So you turn around and perform saying you knock out. So I'm saying before your performance incentives is $20 million, 25, right? You turn around and you make that money, and then you turn around to the Giants and say, "Screw you, I go somewhere else."
But why would he have to say screw you, I'm going somewhere else?
Yeah.
He's already got his deal in that scenario.
Not everything's just cut and dry. Like, do you think, Drew, man? Some people want to perform. Some people have an ego that want to sit there and say, "Hey,
he ain't
I'll
stupid.
prove
He's
you."
business. He's business. He's got an ego, but he's not going to let it get in the way of making money. We'll be very clear on that. Kayvon has an ego, and that's fine. Listen, he's been one of the better players for a long time now. He may not be elite and necessarily in the NFL, but he's still above average in the NFL. I don't see that happening. I don't at all. So who knows? I could be right. You could be right. Probably me, but who knows?
I'm in a bad.
Oh yes, I hope you do. I hope you do. So you know what? I also hope, remember, that it's time to pay the bill. So guys, of course, as always. Oops, we lost you there. What happened?
You know exactly what happened.
No, I know what happened is I changed this when you were on the show Monday because your power outage there. But yeah, so guys, we of course have still the buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Best way to go ahead and support the show there. You can do one-time support payments along with monthly as well, along with, of course, doing the super chats and all on YouTube. But this one does take a lower percentage from us there. Of course, as always, we do also have, I got to change this now too. We got the store, 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com, where you can buy shirts, towels, mugs, what do you call them? Like the cups you can go travel cups? Travel mugs? Like, I don't want to say a Stanley. It's not a Stanley, but you know what I mean. One of those kind of cups.
Your tumbler.
We're great at pitching, by the way, if you can't tell. One of those
One
kind
of these
cups.
guys.
Wouldn't that be spectacular? Pins, all kinds of fun stuff there. And of course, we still have the special going on right now that if you were to purchase $100 or more worth of items there, you get, of course, free shipping there. Again, the 2giantgoofballs/shop.fourthwall.com. And of course, guys, the free way to help us out there is go ahead and hit that thumbs up there if you haven't already on the live stream here on YouTube. Again, that really helps push everything out there, guys. We have just 9 right now. As much as we enjoy saying 9, like we're members of the band Rammstein, let's get that up, guys. Can we get 20 before we're done here? Can I hear 20?
Let's go.
20, like Kayvon wants 20. Let's talk about players the Giants have met with now at the Combine, because there are a few names that we do know for sure. They're all defense, by the way, guys. Told you guys. I think this is going to be a build the defense draft, which is crazy. We're paying a ton of money for defensive players, but they haven't panned out. First, we got Sonny Styles from Ohio State.
Ohio.
Now, PFF actually ranked him as the top linebacker in this draft. Not Arvell Reese, who a lot of people think is the top one. They pick Sonny Styles. He's their 5th overall prospect in the draft as well. 21 years old, 6'5", 243 pounds. Last year, 14 games, 82 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 interception, 3 passes deflected, and a forced fumble. He's actually converted from safety to linebacker. So he was originally a safety the first 2 years at Ohio State. So
really hit that beefcake.
They still put him occasionally, back him up into a safety position. They go ahead and put him on the line, even as a pass rusher occasionally. This guy plays all over the place there. He's also excellent in coverage, which you kind of expect from a linebacker that used to be a safety. Kind of goes with the territory there. But he's a guy that if we stay at 5 and we really want to go linebacker, or we really think that's where we need to go and we think he's the best guy, and there's a possibility he's there. And you hear a lot of good things about him. He's kind of like been the guy a little bit more on the quiet front. We knew he was going to be a first-round pick, but his name is rising up in draft boards right now. And this is not about the underwear Olympics, by the way. This is just people like legitimately moving things around as they're watching more and more film on people. So he's definitely a name to watch out for if we stay at 5. I don't think we stay at 5 personally still, but we'll see what happens there. We have options. Nice to have options.
Yeah. Options.
Let's see. We also did an interview with Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas. He's the 4th ranked linebacker, 43rd ranked prospect overall on PFF's big board there. 21 years old, 6'3", 230 pounds. Last year, 10 games, 69 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, a pass deflected, a fumble recovery, and 3 forced fumbles. Very good sideline to sideline speed kind of guy, a good run stopper, can also pass rush though, but he's a true 3-down linebacker. And he's one of those guys that I think will probably go in the 2nd round, but there's a chance he could sneak into the 1st, depending on how the combine goes and how the rest of the time goes between now and then. There's a lot to go before this whole thing gets changed up, guys. A lot of time to go through. So, yeah, so we'll see what happens. But look at that. The first 2 guys, linebacker.
Yeah, look at that. One guy that can play all over the place as a linebacker, and the other one that's a great run stopper. So,
yeah, like I said,
they try to plug some holes.
This is where I'm saying I really think you guys are going to see some new linebackers here. I said linebackers pluralized because I still think Okereke is gone, and I don't know about McFadden. I'm pro keeping McFadden, but I'm not going to go ahead and offer him, anything specific. Like, we'll bring it back for the $5 million, whatever, call it a day. But I'm not guaranteeing him a starting job. I'm not guaranteeing him anything at that point. Come in and compete. This is a brand new Giants team.
Amen.
And he might not be okay with that. And if he's not, then that's okay. No harm, no foul. I want competition everywhere. And any of these 2 guys would come in and compete to be one of the top 2 linebackers. And both of them, and again, we haven't done our full tape. We haven't done our full rundown there. But both these guys I've seen on tape, and they're both good. I actually think both of them are pretty solid. It depends on when you want. Hill's more the traditional linebacker, your traditional middle linebacker, whereas Styles moves around just everywhere.
He's got some style.
Jack of all trades kind of guy. But he's not the jack of all trades, like a certain somebody there that couldn't play a position. Looking at you, Isaiah Simmons. It's like I said, it's a spot that I think linebacker is going to be a spot you'll see probably day 1, day 2. We have a couple of day 2 picks coming. I do think that between the potential trade down plus the Kayvon trade that I think is going to happen still. No, you don't want it, but I still think it's going to happen. So we'll see what happens, though. It's a lot of things can go on between now and then. One third guy that we met with, and I love this. As Gettleman would say, I'm in full bloom love with this.
Full bloom.
The Giants bet with Peter Woods, defensive lineman at Clemson. PFF's 2nd best defensive lineman. They're wrong. And 16th ranked overall prospect. This is the guy I've been harping you guys on. Trade down, get this guy. Trade down, get this guy. You'll continue hearing me say, guess what? Trade down and get this guy. He is the best run stopper in this draft. Beyond that, he also has abilities to go ahead and rush the quarterback. He's not going to be Dexter Lawrence. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to sit there and say he's going to get 7-8 sacks a season or anything crazy like that. But he's not going to be useless in those scenarios, on top of being a guy that just clogs up the middle. And that's what they're going to want. If you look at everything that happened with the Baltimore defenses, and this is going across multiple defensive coordinators, because they had a lot over the years of Harbaugh, because a lot of them kept getting head coaching jobs. What they always had, and this is going back to what they did with Ray Lewis, because Ray Lewis needed this. This is why I always say Ray Lewis, again, no disrespect to the man, but I don't think he's one of the best linebackers ever. What he depended on was the big fat guy to keep the blockers off of him, because that's the one issue with him, is he wasn't as good at shedding blocks. They continuously made sure they had a fat guy in front of him take on the blocks, keep him freed up. And that's what made him as good as he is. And he's a legit Hall of Famer. He's an all-time great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just don't think he's in the same breath as some of the better linebackers of all time, the Dick Butkuses, the Lawrence Taylors. And again, obviously one middle linebacker, one outside when I say LT, but I'm just throwing that in there. They kept doing that. They like having big guys up on the line to take the blocks on. That's what Peter Woods is. And I think
wrong with that.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I think he just fits what they want. He takes care of a big need we have. He addresses something we've ignored forever. Legit run stopping first level of defense. I'm telling you right now, it just makes absolutely too much sense there. Again, we'll see. Twilight.
We
Who
shall
knows what
see.
they like? We have no clue. This is a brand new regime, basically. Joe Schoen's basically on a leash. We can't say
short
what
one.
they're going to do anymore. So, one more
What
thing to
they're
go
not
over.
going to do.
One more thing to go over, and then guys, go ahead and keep the questions coming. We're going to go through all your questions real quick tonight as well. So, Charlie Campbell of Walter Football says the Giants are high on Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese, Ohio State safety Caleb Downs, and Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. What he said exactly was he said a similar approach could play out this year for New York with them taking one of the best talents in the draft rather than reaching for need. In speaking with sources, the Giants currently like the most for the 5th overall pick are Ohio State linebacker Arvell Reese, Ohio State safety Caleb Downs, and Notre Dame running back Jeremiah Love. That trio is among the top talents in the 2026 NFL draft, regardless of position. Now, the big thing that came out of this is Love being included with this because we got Scatterbo, we got Tracy, and it got people talking like, would the Giants actually go out and get Love? No. All they did is they said to people point blank, you should trade down if you want Love because we might take him.
Yeah, which is
that's what they just announced. If you want to come down and take Love, maybe we'll talk. Otherwise, we might take him. Who knows? We might. You never know. Reverse psychology here.
It's exactly like, I mean, if I guess we can't find a deal, we're just stay at number 5 in draft.
Yeah. We'll take this running back. You guys don't beat us to it. Like, or maybe what they do is they say, oh, maybe the team ahead of them goes, wait a minute, the Giants are interested in Love. They already have a couple of running backs. Maybe you take a second look at them. This is all about them just trying to play chess here. I don't dispute at all they like Reese. I think Reese would probably be gone before they pick. Who knows, though, again. You never know. I mean, if all of a sudden Styles keeps moving up on draft boards, maybe Reese becomes a second linebacker. Honestly, I kind of like Styles better than Reese so far from what I've seen. We'll get to the linebackers later on, probably like next month there, but it's just food for thought there. Downs, we know what they think about Downs. He's clearly the best safety in this draft. We know Ravens had an affinity for safeties, whereas Kyle Hamilton, Ed Reed, that just kind of always had a good one. So people are kind of connecting those dots. I don't know if I call 2 players a pattern, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, I feel people are like, oh, the Ravens love safeties. Why? Because he happened to have inherited Ed Reed when he got there, and they happened to have got Kyle Hamilton at like the middle of the first round. It's not like they took him like number 2 overall.
It's terrible.
People just try to connect dots way too much sometimes. It is what it is there. So, all right, let's get into see what kind of comments we got here. Some questions here. Let's see. The nice thing is on this program here, it gives us a little question mark. So, Anthony says, I don't know if he's saving face. He made a comment yesterday that says, I'm still the GM. Are you really still the GM, Joe? Yes. And like we said, if you got to ask the question, you're not really the GM necessarily. It's like you're trying to convince yourself. See, Ryan says, if Harbs wants him out, does it happen right after the draft? I don't think they would do that. I don't think so. I think Harbaugh and the Giants both have too much class to plot firing Joe Schoen right after the draft.
I think they made the moves because they're keeping him for one more year.
Yeah, at the bare minimum.
Yeah. And it's just like a mutual kind of thing. Like, it's more of like, well, yeah, it's showing around the league what they're going to do, but it's also like, Shane, get your shit together or get your shit out of here.
Your last chance, or else you are the weakest link.
You are voted off the island or something like that.
See, Money Mike says, if they're both elite in the NFL, who's more valuable, Downs or Sonny Styles? So let's use Madden terms for a second here, just hypothetically. Let's say they're both a 90 overall grade kind of player. and again, we're not talking Madden, we're talking actual NFL. What I'm saying, so like they're equally as good in the NFL. Styles is the better player because it's more important to have a quality linebacker that also moves up front, that also can move in the back, and also cover, can pass rush, can do all these things, than having a corner. Now, if Downs is more elite than Styles, and the reverse of your question, but just to clarify, if Downs is like a Pro Bowler and Styles is above average, then yeah, you probably should have taken the Pro Bowler regardless of positional value. So
yeah, it's a tough call.
If they're equal to me, you take the linebacker because they're going to help you much more at all three parts of the football. You know, covering, rushing the passer, and stopping the run, which is kind of what I kind of break things down defense wise. No longer just pass or run; it's cover, pass, rush, run, stop. Because people specialize much more.
True.
Yeah. So, let's see here. And Deb asks, wonder if they will consider Jeremiah 11-5. And yeah, again, I don't think they're going to. I think it's all smokescreen. I really can't imagine they would. Jay says, Styles to us, Downs probably to everyone else, maybe. Not sure what the question was there. Did I miss the question part?
I think I was going back to the previous question.
Oh, I'm sorry. He's talking about the Money Mike thing about, okay, they're both elite. Who's more valuable, Downs or there? So he was saying Downs probably to us, but yeah, okay, I got you. Let's see here. Next question here. Here we go. Anthony says, are they being stupid to trade up? I wouldn't trade up. Unless you have like a can't miss prospect, but you're already short on picks as it is.
Yeah, this draft, I don't see a sense to trade.
Yeah. Jay says, if it's a reach for us, but other teams want to trade up, boo. Again, it's not the reach for us thing. It's the positional thing. We don't need an edge rusher. Like if we go get an edge rusher at pick 5, that's a big issue. You already got Brian Burns lead, second in the NFL, led the whole NFC in sacks. We'll say it that way, because he did lead the NFC technically. You already got Abdul Carter that everybody's very, hopeful for. I'll put it that way. Showed us a little something towards the end of the year, and then you're probably to bring in a veteran or two. So why would you go ahead and bring in a guy like that you just don't think is? It's like saying, I don't think that the guy I have can do this. It's basically what you're saying. That's an issue. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't see that happening. And then who else is worth it at 5? Another wide receiver. I think we're going to re-sign Wandell myself. You want to put Wandell there for 20 or 18, whatever. You want to pay Slayton 12. You want to get Nabors in there as a first round pick still. It's too much, I think. Let's see here. Sean says, isn't this draft supposed to be deep at wide receiver so the Giants could get a difference maker in the second or even fourth round? Yes. Depending on what they want. To me, we just need legit receivers. We don't need to go get stars. We need legit receivers, guys that can go ahead and go out there, not embarrass themselves, and catch the ball. What I love stars, of course, don't get me wrong. But you can't have stars up and down the entire roster. That's just life what it is. So let's see here. So, all right, guys. Well, that's gonna call it a night for us here tonight. We'll be back again, of course, tomorrow for the Thursday night edition there. Give you guys any more news we get from the combine there, on with just regular Giants news in general there. Again, as always, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday on 9 p.m. Eastern, of course, on YouTube, the preferred platform, with, of course, Facebook, X/Twitter, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite. My LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. Before we go, though, guys, again, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, hit that thumbs up. I promise if you hit that thumbs up, I'll stop asking. Just make it your pattern. Go in, hit that thumbs up. We got 35 y'all live right now in YouTube. We got 12 thumbs up. That means we got additional 23 more that can hit. Go for it.
Do it. Do it now.
You do it. Oh, yes.
Everyone
All right,
should
guys.
come.
Again, we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys for watching, listening, supporting as always. And as always, Giant fans.
Go G-Man!
Go
G-Man!
G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.